Hey, all, today we're going to talk about inequalities again, and this time we're going to talk about a system of inequalities, which means we will be using multiple, in our case, two. And so we can graph these inequalities using Desmos, like we graphed the other inequalities the other day. But in this case, we're going to be graphing two of them. So pause here and go ahead and graph those two inequalities. So I've graphed both of them and I've turned them off. I'm going to turn them on. I'll show you the first one. We have the solid line because of the greater than or equals to, and we have the shaded area. And then I have the same thing if I just turn on my other inequality. But when I turn them both on, we have this overlap in the shaded area. You can see I have red, I have blue, and then I have a bit of a darker blue. The place where these two shadings overlap represents the solution to these two inequalities, to this system of inequalities. So much like any point in the shaded region for one inequality, all those points would be solutions. All the points in this overlapped shaded region would be solutions to this system of inequalities. That means it makes them both true. And so any system of inequalities where we want to find the solution, it is this entire shaded region where the red and the blue on my screen, it might be different colors for you, but where they overlap. So we can practice graphing these systems of inequalities just by putting the two of them into Desmos and finding the place where the shading overlaps. So again, you should pause here and graph those two inequalities. So if I turn them both on, here I have a red shaded and a blue shaded, and these overlap almost perfectly on top of each other. There is a little blue space there. The place where they overlap is this darker red place. So you can see regular red, and then I put the blue, and it makes this darker red, almost purple space. The shaded region where they overlap is where all of the solutions are. So this is very similar to what we did last time, except again, we are graphing two inequalities. So go ahead and graph those two. So I have a red one and a blue one. And again, it doesn't matter if your colors are different. The place where they overlap will always be the same. So I have some red here, some blue here, and then they overlap in this region. And that is the solution to the system of inequality. So any point that I pick in this region, I can plug in for X and Y in both of these inequalities, and it will make them both true. So the way we're going to ask questions about that is I'm going to ask you to graph the inequalities and then pick the one that looks like your screen. So this is multiple choice. There are 4 options. You should pick the one that looks like your screen. We're looking just for the overlapping region. So that's the only part on the answer choices that will be shaded. So each of these shadings represents where the overlap in the two inequalities would be. And so you need to pick which one looks like the overlap on your screen. So there are 10 of these practices. They're multiple choice. Please do all of them. If you need help, as ever, ask. We're graphing these in Desmos. Use Desmos. And we're choosing the one that represents the overlapped shading for our system of inequalities. So take your time on these, make sure you do them all, and good luck to you. And I lied. There are only 8 of them, so hopefully you only did 8 of them.